We're back with episode number 232, which we are calling Doom. Doom. Rob is not going to be with us today. He had something else he needed to do. And Carcass is struggling with his computer and hopefully will be joining us soon. As soon as he shows up, I'll pop him in, but he's been struggling with a computer issue today. So I guess we do our normal thing. You got anything you want to shout out or talk about? Or
Yeah, I'll throw this one up there because I've been listening to it pretty much nonstop the last couple days. Got the new Motivic.
Oh, yeah. Same here. I've been listening to that thing over and over again.
10 out of 10 record if you guys haven't bought it yet. I don't know if Ryan's out there. He's usually watching, but I'm loving this one. Grab it if you haven't yet. I'm sure Scott will put a link to it in the notes. But that's it.
Oh, okay. I didn't grab anything because it's been so damn busy, but I did get a big old box of stuff in the mail from, where is it? Including the new Motivic, which is, like I said, like you said, fantastic. What would you call it? Thrash metal? I mean, for the most part, it's thrash metal, but
it was more technical than I was expecting.
I mean, the first track kind of reminds me of like Corner or Believer, and then the second track is just a total thrasher, which is in it.
Yeah.
And then so it kind of ebbs and flows, musically. There's some more mellow moments, I guess you could say. Not really mellow, but I don't know. Like I said, it ebbs and flows. But I also got in the Slaughterhouse came in, and the Sacred Reich is shipping this week, so everybody will be getting their Sacred Reich heel vinyl. As
this band,
that one, yep, we will be. Rob Caldwell did the mastering on that. I'm kind of curious. I am actually going to purchase one of the UK copies too, because they had somebody else master it and see what the difference is. See how it sounds compared to that one. So
that was because I've always loved the sound. I've got an original pressing of the album, and I've always loved the way it sounds. So I'm curious to see what Rob did with it.
Yeah. So the pre-order did you pre-order? Because if you did, it's shipping, I believe, this week.
No, I just ordered it. I ordered it within the last few days.
Oh yeah, you pre-ordered it. So
yeah,
cool. Did you get you got the price though, right? The $24 price, right on. Cool. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff in the mail, but I don't want to go through all of it. We can just start talking about our subject. But I did get in the and these haven't even gone on sale yet. But the remastered Viking Do or Die, the remastered Viking Man of Straw. So I'm looking forward to checking those out again. Rob Caldwell did the mastering, so
that's the only two I have. Don't they have one more as well?
They have one more from, I think, came out in 2020, which I would love to put that out. What we were originally wanting to do was put out a 3 CD set with all their music on it in a box, but the guitar player from Viking, I don't know the whole story. All I know is I think his wife is having some medical issues, and he just doesn't want to deal with anything right now except for with her, which is
him and the guys from Dark Angel.
What's that?
It's the original guitar player and then the guys from Dark Angel.
Pretty much is what the new one is. Yeah. Gene Hoglan on drums. Yeah. Gonzo on bass. So yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So anyhow, still don't see any Carcass. I'm keeping an eye out for him just in case he shows up. But
all right.
Anyhow, so yeah, let's get into it. So this is actually Steve's subject. He wanted to get into some Doom because he's been in a Doom mood. So
yeah, I'll actually show you what got me in the Doom mood. I might have talked about this before, but this Magnetic Eye Records has been releasing these comps, and I've bought the whole collection now. But it's basically mostly modern Doom and Doom, sludge, and stoner bands redoing classic albums. So this is the one that's on my turntable right now. And just an example, some of the bands is Thou, The Obsessed, High Reaper, Matt Pike does a song on here, Spirit Adrift, Haunt, Whores, and it's all Doom metal. Oh, this is obviously a pretty doomy album anyway. It's Black Sabbath, but Doom reimaginings of these songs. So that's that one.
So is it all Black Sabbath songs in that one?
Yeah, no, this is the full volume 4. These are full. This Them redo full album.
And then each band does a different song.
Yeah. So, and then this is Meantime from, what the hell's the name of the band? Helmet. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. Meantime from Helmet, all Doom bands. You know, they've done a whole series. So this one is Electric Ladyland from Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix?
The Wall from
Jimi Hendrix, Doom style?
Yeah. And then Back in Black. And I've also got, they did Super Unknown from Soundgarden, which is my favorite so far. That one's fantastic. And then they did Dirt from Alice in Chains, which is, again, is 9 out of 10. So this whole series, though, so they've done full albums, and then they've got 3 or 4 more where it's like a greatest hits. So it's like Soundgarden's greatest hits, and they cover stuff from the whole discography. And this whole series is fan. Like I said, I bought the first 3, and then I ended up going online and ordering all the rest of them. They're all fan. I mean, they've been blowing me away how good they are.
Right on.
So, and that's Magnetic Eye Records that's doing those. So that's what got me in the Doom mood. But I'll show some of the stuff I've been listening to. Some of these are new bands. There's a new record store here in the Atlanta area called Wolf House Records. And the guy that owns it's a big stoner and sludge guy. So he's been turning me on to some new bands. So this is one of them that I picked up from him. The band. This is a split between Most Generator and Isaac. Isaac is the one that's really been killing it for me. I've bought a couple from them. But Isaac is a Italian doom stoner band. Really good. So I've been spinning that lately. What else we got here? The Obsessed. So I don't know, you guys should know The Obsessed. That's Wino's original band. Actually, I got another one here. So this is kind of the beginning of that. This was 82, I think, when this is their second demo. It's been pressed to vinyl. It's just really killer doom from 82, super early, before any of the big name doom bands were around yet. I think that's about when Trouble came out, right? The first, no, that was 83, right? When
I think it was 83. Yeah. Of course, they were around for several years before.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Trouble, I think, was the first big doom band to release an album, but all of those guys had been playing doom since the late 70s. Used as one of, or The Obsessed is one of them, though. So this was Wino's original band. This is their demo from 82. It sounds like it came from a tape, but it's fantastic. And then this is live from 92. Again, The Obsessed. I've seen them twice within the last 2 years, too. They're fantastic. I mean, Wino, Eric Wagner, and Messiah are probably my 3 favorite doom vocalists. They just can't go wrong, those 3 guys. But this is one I just got turned on to. This is kind of more that psychedelic 70s style stoner with a female singer. This is Ruby the Hatchet. They're also on a couple of those comps that I just showed you. Actually, most of these bands are on those comps. But one worth checking out. This was like 2017 or 18. What else have I been listening to? This is one that Scott and Carcass turned me on to. I just got this in the mail about a week ago. Been playing this quite a bit.
That thing's fantastic.
Yeah, Turbid North. Kind of, I don't know what you call them, kind of progressive doom, I guess, with almost death doom at times with the vocals. But fantastic. Highly recommend that one. This is another one that the local record store turned me on to as well, Geezer. I believe these guys are from New York, but fantastic. Recommend checking these guys out, too. And then do you want to show a couple?
No, go ahead. I mean, I can show a couple if you're ready to break.
Yeah, go ahead. I got some more.
Let me take out a solo layout. Yeah, so I just ran while you were doing that and grabbed this one because I almost forgot. But this is like one of our favorite bands on the program is Forebode. These guys have been on the show a few times. These guys are great, fantastic. Someone can correct me, but I'm pretty sure the look what we got here. Rob Caldwell.
I can't believe it's Rob Caldwell that said Osric Tentacles first.
Yep. Ostrich Tentacles. Yep. Rob did it. Anyhow, yeah, these guys have been on the show before, so I think they only had the 2 albums out, and I thought they had disbanded, but I'm pretty sure I heard they were back together again and maybe recording new music. So really cool. Forebode, definitely heavy, like paramecium heavy. You know what I mean? So it's doom, but it's got that almost death metal feel to it. Even though I wouldn't, call it death metal by any stretch of the imagination, but you know what I mean. And then here's another one that this is actually their newest album, which I've been listening to quite a bit this year. But this is Red Mesa Desert Doom from Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is...
I need to check that one out. You've told me about them a couple times.
Yeah, they've got several albums. This is their newest one. But I don't know if you can see the picture very well. There you go. That the guy right there in the Horde shirt, that is Alex Cantwell, who used to be the bass player for a while in Ultimatum before Rob Caldwell came and joined the band. Yeah. So yeah, they're great. They're a really good band. Actually, I think it actually calls it Red Mesa dig deep into the earth with partial distortions and emerge with their finest work yet, Desert Doom. I don't know what the desert part means, but unless that just means they're from the desert. And then, of course, I didn't grab the whole. I just grabbed a few of these, but
there you go. Yeah.
Of course, you got to have some Pentagram. This one's actually signed. I don't know if you can see it or not, but by Victor Griffin and Bobby.
I'd love to have seen them with Victor. That lineup was my favorite. The 2 times I've seen Pentagram was both times when he was out of the band. So,
yeah, I even got the in the back. I got the flyer from the show in the back.
Very cool. Yeah,
I managed to swipe one off the wall of the club. They were playing. There was a little club, and there was freaking nobody there. I'm going to say maybe 30, 40 people max. Kind of like that Raven show you and I went to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Last time I saw him, it was a doom and sludge festival, so there were like 30 bands, so it was packed. And but Bobby still came out afterwards and probably spent 40 minutes just talking to people and signing stuff and
that's cool.
Hamming it up as he does.
That's cool. Yeah, he seems to be doing much better these days. But
yeah,
and I think they're the 2 albums. These they're 2 of the newer albums, but these things, I think that's not one of the newer albums. That's an older album. I thought I grabbed 2 ones. But anyhow, I still think the newer Pentagram albums are really, really well done.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think I don't think anybody would complain. They're all good. I thought I grabbed the newer one, but I guess I didn't. Newest one. That's not the newest one, right? There was one after this one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I believe there was one after that. I think that's the one I got signed is the one after that.
Cool. So there you go. There's a few. But let's see here. We got that album is fire. Which album is fire?
That first one you showed, the local band, Forebode.
Forebode. Yeah, I think I have their 2 CDs and then this one vinyl. I think it's the only vinyl they have out. It's signed too. Look at that. Hey,
there you
special. Go. Somebody scribbled on my album cover. That ain't cool. Right on. A lot of people watching, man. Hey, give us some of your favorites. Tell us some of your favorite Doom bands. Oh, look at that.
I don't really have I don't know that I have I have a favorite genre of Doom. I like all of it. The only Doom I really don't like, and it's not really Doom, is the drone stuff. I don't get it. I get even there's styles of metal that I don't like, but I get them. The drone thing where it's like one strike of the guitar and it just resonates for 3 minutes nonstop. I don't get it.
You mean like Boris or Ohm?
Boris or Sun.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I don't get it. But you got any albums to show there, or did you want to do your Carcass Wow?
Oh, well, you know what? I kind of got frustrated and forgot. So, technology has not been my friend all day, and this is my advice to everybody out there: don't leave your browser open over a holiday weekend. I came back and somehow Microsoft 10 Pro is downloaded to my computer. And the thing is, since we're talking about Doom and sludge and whatever, that's the way my computer is running today. I do have a shout out though. 2 shout outs actually. It's Scott Shelby's birthday He of Gamicide,
Gamicide fame,
Hammer Witch, War Beast, Beast of War, Rotting Corpse. Saw them last Thursday. They played their first show in Austin in 28 years, I think.
Very
anyway,
cool.
It was spectacular. So shout out to him and shout out to Steve Murphy for making it all happen. It was incredible. My daughter actually shot pictures, and we had a great time. Even though we did a flip turn, we thought it would be a boring trip home at night coming home from Austin, and in crazy Texas, we saw fireworks the whole way home along the major interstate. Anyway, I'm starting to see some really cool Reverend Bazaar. That's a great one. Forebode, you beat me to it. Candlemass, obviously. Here, you want me to throw something up there?
Yeah, throw a couple up.
How about see? I saw someone already post Solitude Eternus. This to me is probably one of the greatest Doom records ever. But I take a different approach to Doom because I've had guys telling me that bands like this, Mortiferum, this is funeral Doom. And Steve, to your point, we've got so many definitions and genres and what have you, but this has Doomy elements to it. So I guess, have you already defined? Did I miss out your definition of what?
No, we didn't really go there because it's too hard, and everybody disagrees. Like, I don't think that first Paramecium album is Funeral Doom, but a lot of people call it Funeral Doom. So,
Yeah, I take a harder edge to things. Like this is a band from Oakland, California called Abstractor.
Mm-hmm.
And it borders on ambient, doom, death metal, technical thrash. I mean, bands like Blood Incantation and Spectral Voice and Tomb Mold and Mortiferum, they've all taken this new avenue to Out the Stars or something, or To the Grave. So, I mean, back in the day, Funebarum, they're a death metal band from, I think, upstate New York. But this is so doomy and so slow and trudging. They're proving that death metal didn't have to be all speed. This is called Sleep of Morbid Dreams, and it's really super heavy. I guess that's the real telling sign that you're kind of having a doom moment is when it's so crushingly heavy and not necessarily fast.
Well, I'll show this isn't doom, this is sludge, but this is one of my favorite albums of all time. And not only that, it's one of the slowest albums, and it's one of the heaviest albums ever. And it's this bad boy right here. The first time I heard this was, I knew Trouble, I knew a lot of the doom metal bands, but this is the first album where it hit me that some of the slowest stuff is some of the heaviest stuff on record. And not only is the music heavy, but I mean, he's super steeped in his alcoholism at this point, and it's super dark. He can barely sing this. When I saw them last year, he did Planets Collide. He said it's the only song from this he can sing, and he has to wait till the end of his show because it destroys his voice when he does anything from this album. So, again, this is sludge, but still, one of the slowest, heaviest albums, and one of my all-time favorites. So,
oh wow, Crypt Sermon. I didn't know anybody knew them. That's a killer band. Once again, more of a metal side. Here's a local band from.
Crypt Sermon's great. I've got one of their
albums. It's called Tyrannosaurus. Just kind of a funny play on words.
I like that.
But this is super heavy, super ambient, and just crushingly doomy. And I don't know. I sort of.
What'd you do?
And but am I glitching?
No.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah, so Tyrannosaurus, that's the only album they have out, and they're really killer. They have members of Cleric and Steel Bearing Hand and some of the D-Beat bands here in DFW. But anyway, it's one of my favorite. If you want to try that one on for size. If you like that.
Oops.
Oh, lost him.
Yeah, I guess he was glitching.
Well, I'll show a few more I've been listening to, and I pulled some of my favorites too that we can save till the end. But So a couple more that I've been spinning is I just got into this band recently. This is Yob. I think this is like their third album.
I'm gonna
really digging this one. Have you checked them out?
I'm gonna blow you up so I can see the cover better. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool cover. What's the name of the band again? Spell it.
Yob, Y-O-B.
Yob.
Yeah, they've been around for about a decade now. They've been around for a while. And then, one of my all-time, I've mentioned Eric Wagner, I think, has one of the ultimate doom metal voices. Pulled this one out yesterday and gave it another spin.
I play that thing regularly. Both the Skull albums are fantastic.
Everything he released. Have you checked out the Blackfinger stuff?
Yes.
The 2 Blackfinger albums are fantastic, too. He didn't have bad albums. Everything he released was fantastic. This was killer. I actually bought this on vinyl. I've told the story. You know the story. I went to see him in The Obsessed, and I got to the show, and I brought that and a couple Trouble albums for him to sign, and found out he had been hospitalized earlier that day and ended up passing away a couple days later. So unfortunately, there you go. They've been around since the 90s, so they've been around for a couple decades, Yob.
Did you pick up the Eric Wagner solo album, In the Lonely Light of Morning?
That's the only thing from him I don't have yet.
It's good. I mean, it's very Trouble, the Skull-like, but that's what else would you expect? Yeah.
This is a new one. Not a new one. The band, this is 7 or 8 years old, but a new band for me, kind of in the epic doom, epic metal. They kind of skirt that line. But this is Grand Magus or Grand Magus, The Hunt. I've been really digging this one as well. I've played this 5 or 6 times for you epic metal guys. Again, gets pretty doomy, gets into the metal a little bit, kind of skirts that line. And then this one, not really doom or sludge, but this is Dax Riggs. We Sing Only of Blood or Love. So Dax Riggs was the singer from Acid Bath. He was the main guy behind Acid Bath. And he's done a couple of solo albums too. And these kind of touch on, you kind of hear some of that sludge in there. He calls it Louisiana blues. So it's more bluesy, but you still get kind of a little bit of that sludge here and there throughout the album. So these are worth checking out too. So that's Dax Riggs. So I'll pass it on to you there, Scott.
Well, I don't know if these guys are kind of somewhere in the middle between Stoner and Doom, but Orchid.
Oh man, I love that EP. I like all their stuff, but that right there is my favorite.
I have the second album on vinyl. I still can't get the first album on vinyl. I just have not been able to find it. And I'm not paying $100 for it. No album is worth $100 to me. So, yeah, these guys are fantastic. I guess they're not around anymore because I haven't seen anything new from them in years. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they officially split up, but yeah, it's been a while since Orchid released anything, and they're killer.
That's killer.
Like
that is a killer album. But let me just throw this up there in case I glitch out again. Anybody mention Sleep?
No,
not yet.
Okay.
Well, Sleep, the Science is one of my favorite records of all time. I don't know what they're everyone loves Dope Smoker. I don't know why, but that Science is killer. And oh, by the way, Rob Colwell, Osric Tentacles.
He beat you to it already.
Right?
Oh, he did? Wow. Even he mentioned it first?
He was the first one to mention it.
I'm going to send you one of his new T-shirt designs. I'll let him throw that up there if he wants. Oh, Place of Skulls? Isn't that with Wino?
Damn it.
Isn't that with Wino? Place of Skulls?
This one is. Yeah. And Victor Griffin, of course.
Yeah.
This is the 10-inch Love Through Blood album. Because when they put their first album out, I can't remember what label they were on. They were some label, but the label made them remove several songs because they were too religious. They didn't like the lyrics.
Up at the store yesterday.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I got 2 copies of that. One is autographed, but yeah. Anyhow, I grabbed a few. I got their live album. It's just called Live, and then I think this one is fantastic as well.
Great album cover too.
Very dark. This is a very dark album though. The black.
Mentioned Blade Barter.
Oh, we're getting there.
Okay,
we're getting there.
Well, I don't know how long I have on this wonderful.
So show it. But yeah, St. Vitus.
Yeah.
That's actually my least favorite St. Vitus record right there.
Wasn't this the last one they did?
They have a newer one, but that was not. It's not the most recent. It's the one before that.
Yeah, I got mine's signed by Henry. When I got to meet him when I was down there with Carcass and them, and he actually gave me that little sticker, which I just threw in there with the cover. But it's from the store. What's the name of the store?
Born Late
Records. Yeah,
Born Late Records.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
If you ever I don't know if you've ever been there, Steve, but if you ever get a chance to go to Born Late Records, just make sure you have at least a half a day, if not longer.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's you can spend hours in there. I mean, there's room after room after room of records, and most of it's hard rock and metal. There's very little other in there, and then the stuff hanging on the walls is like museum stuff. But yeah, let's go through. Well, we got it here. St. Vitus. They have a lot of live albums. Live Volume 2.
Yeah, that one's actually pretty good. The Live Volume 1 I really like. The one with just the two. Oh, that thing's awesome. That was a more recent recording, wasn't it? Wasn't that a
gosh, I can't remember. I mean, it's just an EP, but
right.
It does have, I believe Henry is on drums. So
yeah, that's the first time that Henry was recorded with them on drums.
This one is fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah, that one's great. I'm glad that finally got repressed, actually.
Oh, and by the way, Frazier just said something. Did we get hit by the storm? Man, South Texas, South Central Texas, Houston, Freeport, man, they are getting
pounded. Yeah.
And no Frazier. Fortunately, we missed that, but keep the faith. They got 1.5 million people without electricity still down there, including my daughter.
Love the cover on this one.
That is a great live record. That is really
on the St. Vitus, I'm going to show this one because I think this is probably one of the 5 best doom metals albums of all time.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I literally pulled the whole vinyl.
I'm not going to disagree with you. That one's a good one too, Scott. By the way,
and I believe this was Ripper. This was Wino's first album too, if I remember correctly.
I think this one here was the one where Don Dokken produced it.
It is absolutely correct. In fact, I helped Henry put that out. Is that on Hankenstein Records?
This actually is a reissue of that one. Most of mine are originals, but this one is a reissue.
On Hankenstein. Yeah, I helped him put that together.
There's this story on YouTube you can find of Don Dokken talking about the album, and he's working with those guys. He's like, okay, guys, you need to write a faster song. You got to write a faster song. And he goes, you got all these slow songs. I want a faster song. And apparently the band came back in the studio because, all right, we got a faster song. June. It's funny the way Don tells it.
Those guys are characters for sure.
Yeah.
That's another top 10 right there. That one's great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The Thirsty and Miserable EP. This one will always be my favorite because it's got my theme song on there.
That's just so good.
I think I was born about a decade late.
That's where the record store got their name. Yeah.
Yep.
Good one.
Almost there.
So have we decided who are the kings of Doom then?
So I'm about to show them actually for me.
Because I was talking to somebody today. In fact, I was talking to Hair Metal Rob. I think that the pivot point for heavy music, blues, rock, metal, and doom all go through Black Sabbath. That's just my opinion.
And I didn't even bring up Black Sabbath because that's kind of where it starts. But so these are actually my 3 favorite doom metal albums. But these are probably the 3 most important bands. But obviously, the Born Too Late. We've already talked about that one. Next up. Everybody loves the first Candlemass. I think this is the best Candlemass. Ancient Dreams.
Is that the one with
12 out of 10 album with Messiah, and Messiah is just amazing on this.
Is that the one with Michael Ammett, or is that the pterodactyl, whatever that thing is? There's one of those Candlemasses that has Michael playing guitar.
I'm not sure.
A very, very young Michael Ammett.
It's possible. I've got his first record though.
What's the black cover with the little skull and the little
that's Doomicus.
Yes, Epicus.
Yeah, that's their first album from '85 with the original singer. I like Messiah. Of all the Candlemass singers, Messiah is my favorite. But they're all they're all good. Don't get me wrong, but this one's always been my favorite. And then not only is this my favorite doom metal album, this is probably one of my 3 favorite albums of all time of any genre, and it's the self-titled Trouble album. I mean, this is just a 15 out of 10 for me. I love everything about this. I don't get a lot of credit. The album after this was one of the first stoner rock album or stoner metal albums as well. It came out just a couple months after the first Caius record. So they not only were they one of the first doom bands, they were one of the first stoner bands as well.
Is that the one on Def Jam that was produced by Rick Rubin?
Yeah, this one is the Def Jam. Def America, you mean? Or
Def America, yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic, and the follow-up is just easily as good in my opinion.
Well, that's not, and that one, that's where you see the beginning of stoner metal with the follow-up. I mean, that one, you've got that psychedelic sound that you really hadn't heard at that point, which is now, I mean, that psychedelic stoner doom mix is probably the biggest thing out there right now in the genre,
Yeah, I think from the first 3 albums, the first album is probably also just as brilliant. Although I really like all those Trouble albums all the way up and through like Plastic Greenhead.
I didn't like Plastic Greenhead when it came out. I didn't get it.
Same here.
And now it's that and this one the most. Those are the 2 Trouble albums that I listen to the most. I mean, it's just so good because I wasn't into the psychedelic thing when that came out, so it just didn't click for me. I didn't like Monster Magnet, who was the other early stoner style band. And I thought they were trying to, even though it came out about the same time, I thought they were kind of trying to do the Monster Magnet type of thing. But now when I go back and listen to it, the Monster Magnet sounds super dated. That one still sounds fantastic. It still holds up really well. Yeah, another great band.
There's your Solitude Alternatives. Yeah, we did talk about Solitude Alternatives a little bit. Another Texas band, fantastic.
Well, this one in particular, I know that Beyond the Crimson Horizon and Downfall. In fact, there's a funny story. That's how I met John Perez. I had an underground zine called Hepatitis News, and when they released Downfall on Pavement Records, I basically said that will be the downfall of the band because it's so poorly produced and the edits are bad and blah blah blah. And then I met John at the Austin Record Convention, and I had to apologize because he was so kind and so nice. And he said, "You were right." And he said, "But let me tell you the story of the band or that album. They sent it to Pavement. Pavement didn't master it. They didn't edit it. They didn't blend it all together like they're supposed to. They just put it out. They just put it out the way it was."
Pavement has I know a couple guys. I have a couple friends whose bands were signed to Pavement, and that label wasn't really known for doing people right in any way. So
no, in fact, I think Metal Mind put out Downfall again, and then did it right and mastered it and blended tracks and what have you, instead of just hit the tape button and say stop, and it sounds much better. But anyway, yeah, Solitude Eternus is that album in particular. It's almost like they knew that was going to be their last record, and they left it all on the field. Man, it's Alone is great. In fact, if you get the Metal Mind release, it's got a bonus track on there that's probably the pinnacle of Solitude Eternus, as far as, in my opinion. Like yours, Steve, you have your favorites, but anybody ever heard of Lopan?
No.
See, this was like one of those borderline bands, like you said, where now we're getting into the stoner rock psychedelia, and now it's just too confusing. How about Stone Axe? You've ever heard of that?
No.
That's another Tony Reed project. In fact, oh yeah, I got that on tape, and man, that thing is a crusher.
Yeah, that's so good.
But it's a death metal record, in my opinion.
Everything he touches is fantastic, though. He's just one of those guys. What was it, Jason? What's his last name?
Jason Sherlock.
Yeah, that guy. Everything that he's released, I'm a fan of.
Yeah, I think it's probably critical that you don't stay locked in by genre per se. I think music is just good. If it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter if it's funeral doom, regular doom.
He went death metal to black metal to funeral doom to he's been all over the place.
I mean, this band started off as straight up death metal.
Right.
This is their first full length album, but they had demos before this, and they were all straight straight death metal, blast beats and the whole bit. This is doom metal with death metal vocals and female operatic vocals, so they kind of mix the two together. And I mean, the beginning alone, man, that's just that slow double bass, and it just keeps going and building it. It's such a brilliant freaking album. Yeah.
Yeah, your Horde was Jason. I think it was. I don't even think it was a band. I think he did every instrument, didn't he? On the Horde album, yeah.
Horde, he was every instrument. This is probably not one a lot of people know, but I love this record. I play it quite a bit. This is Rose Healing.
Oh yeah.
Randy Rose, who used to, from I shouldn't say used to, he's still in Mad at the World, and then his first album, Sacrificium.
Yeah, Mad at the World though, they started off as a great band, and they got kind of weird on that last album.
I mean, they started off as like a electronic. I don't know what you call that kind of crap. They started off as. Then they went to that doomier, heavier rock stuff. I really like. Matter of fact,
it was like doom metal with Danzig vocals. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I just happened to have one sitting here. This is Seasons of Love, and I thought I had another one because I was just listening to these. So yeah, I've got another one sitting around here somewhere, but I got so much crap on my desk from all the stuff I'm working on. Oh, here you go.
Good one.
This is probably their best album right here, Mad at the World. But I wouldn't call these doom. Whereas the Randy Rose is a little doomier, more stoner rock. This stuff is more like, kind of reminds me of I don't know, AC/DC meets the Cult. That gets kind of has that kind of vibe to it. I don't know if that's a good description or not, but anyhow.
But I think all music has gotten so diluted with multiple genres blended together, and I mean, but like I said, the funeral doom thing is really appealing to me for some reason because I love ambient music, I love heavy music, I love death metal, I love all those genres, and to have them kind of blended all together into one, like that Abstractor record, that band from Oakland. He's a one man gang. There's another band from Australia, from Melbourne, down where Mark Massacre's from, called Convulsing, and they do a Porcupine Tree cover, for crying out loud, but they do it in a doomy, slow, plodding fashion. So I just think it's fascinating that bands are drawing from a warehouse of sound and not just stuck in the groove of the same old thing. I mean, look at Opeth. I mean,
another one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. And I did a deep dive on Patriarchs in Black. Notice I didn't call them Architects in Black, but Patriarchs in Black, because I sort of felt like I was being called out by maybe Carcass John will get one of their records. Well, I actually ordered the record, so.
So T-Fam mentioned Electric Wizard. They're a funny one for me. I love Electric Wizard live. I can't listen to their albums. I don't know what their albums just don't do it for me. But I've seen them live a couple times, and they're fantastic live.
I'm the same exact way. Yeah. I feel I wish they could capture that energy. It's almost like Ted Nugent. I mean, Nugent live is untouchable for that type of rock music. But his albums, after the first two or three, it just starts to. I don't know what it is, and I know Scott will fight me in the parking lot on that, but. But admittedly, after those, I don't want to go there. Never mind. But yes,
no, I would agree with you that his studio albums didn't lack the energy and the heaviness that his live show represented and had. And even Ted Nugent himself has said that he's especially in the 70s, he struggled to get that heavy sound in the studio. So
right,
yeah. Another one that nobody mentioned yet, that Paradise Lost.
Count Raven. Boy, that's someone pulling one out of the fire.
Yeah, I like Count Raven too.
Dope Lord.
I remember I got one of the Paradise Lost albums the first day I got the first Cathedral album. And the first Cathedral album was so good that I couldn't listen to the Paradise Lost album. It just didn't do it for me.
And I was trying desperately to convince one of the labels that I work with to re-release some of the Count Raven stuff, but unfortunately they have very little following, so it's hard to convince the label to put their money into it when they don't know if it's going to sell or not. So
they're true underground doom.
Oh yeah, I got that right here. I think is that the newest one?
I got the new album in the mail this week. Yeah, or last week. It's the new My Sound of the Week. So
I haven't listened to it yet, but yeah, I forgot about that. I'm going to listen to that later, actually.
yeah, this is UK bands. I don't know. Some people compare them. Actually, funny thing is, people compare them to Paradise Lost a lot, but I haven't heard the new one yet. I literally just got it and haven't had a chance to
Well,
listen to
John,
it.
have you checked out My Silent Wake yet?
No.
They have some ambient singles and stuff. They don't just do doom metal. They do some of the electronic ambient stuff too that you would really dig.
My Silent.
I think those are only on CD, but I've got quite a few of their singles and their EPs. Yeah, Baron, I'm glad you bring up Witchfinder General because I want to talk about. Somebody mentioned Witchfind too. Two of the more instrumental bands in the evolution of doom, and I want to mention one more. I'm a huge new wave of British heavy metal fan. Not only is this one of my favorite new wave British heavy metal albums, it's got kind of that doomy sound to it too, and that's Widow from Ritual. This album doesn't get a lot of love just because people don't know about it, but this album is a 10 out of 10. Very much in the similar vein, but these guys had a little bit of what was going on in England at the time with the post-punk was there. And you get kind of a little bit of that in here too, which you don't hear from a lot of other new wave of British heavy metal bands. But I've talked to, if you've seen any of my videos, Witchfind is one of my favorite bands from the early 80s. Their second album, Stage Fright, which has got more of that doominess to it, is one of my favorites that unfortunately doesn't get a whole lot of love, but just some fantastic stuff. Yeah, Typo Negative, I thought about pulling that out.
I should have. I know the Queen loves Typo, and I
never really connected them to Doom. Would you consider them Doom?
Well,
their own thing. I mean, they definitely. I don't know what you think. They were different than any other band. The lines were really blurred with them. I mean, if you're expecting Carnivore, you're not going to get it with Typo. No,
but they did a Cars cover that's so sludgy and so doomy slow.
Their cover of the song Black Sabbath is maybe one of the greatest songs ever released on vinyl. It's so slow and so heavy and so scary. And in the background, you hear him whispering, "I am Satanist." It's just one of the most evil songs out there. They're just fantastic. But they also did Summer Breeze. You know what I mean?
But even that, they took that.
And they made it cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But someone pulled out Pagan.
Another one
I'll go ahead.
I was going to say another one that nobody's mentioned is Pylon from England.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pylon, or however they say their name, but they've done some cool covers too. Like they did South of Heaven Doom style. They did War Pigs, and they made it. I mean, War Pigs was a heavy, Sabbath song, but man, they made it Doom. It's just so slow and trudgy and so cool. But I think I have all the Pylon albums.
I'm going to show this one again. This is on my turntable right now. I mean, this is so good.
Is it a remaster or what is it?
No, it's you missed that part. So this is the Redux series from Magnetic Eye.
Gotcha.
So this one's got Thou, The Obsessed. Matt Pike is on here. Speaking of sleep, and Green Lung is on here. Tony Reed, Horse. But High Reaper does a slower, heavier version of Changes that's so fucking good. This whole series, again, from Magnetic Eye, I recommend.
By the way, I said War Pigs. I said War Pigs. I meant Paranoid. Sorry. Okay. But here's an interesting one that I didn't even think of, and I love this band.
The Swedish band? Oh, Serathungal.
I never considered them Doom. I mean, they were more epic metal for me. I get calling them Doom. That's another band, though. That's their own thing. They don't sound like anybody else,
Yeah, I agree. And I always love the vocals. He's such a unique vocal style. I mean, if anything, once in a while, he reminds me of Dan McCafferty from. But yeah, I like that kind of. It's not growled, but it's raspy. Like Eric Wagner from Trouble.
Somebody mentioned Paul Bearer. I just did a video about the most recent Paul Bearer album that came out a few months ago. It's fantastic. And the album before that was my album of the year, like 3 years ago when it came out. That was my number one album. Paul Bearer is just Definitely worth checking out if you guys haven't checked them out yet.
Tip fam,
we're
I don't know who you are, but man, you're bringing the business today. That's I'm
No
taking
doubt.
prolific notes.
Yeah, there's some good. Some of these I never even heard of, so that's cool. Bong. Is that this? No, that's Gong. I'm thinking of Gong.
No,
You remember,
you're more of a jazz, progressive jazz thing.
Yeah. Bong. Well, I guess if you're gonna call yourself Bong, you should probably be stoner rock, right?
Oh yeah, and Pagan Altar is a good one too. I forgot about them.
Yeah, really good.
Conan's great too. I saw them not too long ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago.
I should have grabbed some of the Pylon albums to show, and then of course I got this in the mail this week, so this is a good one.
That is doomy as it gets, Johnny Lee.
Oh man,
what band?
And I want you to know that the album is called "Looking for Love," not looking for love.
Yeah, you better change that. Get that apostrophe in there. Fraser Dawson asked an interesting question. What band do you think is overrated of doom metal? We think that they're all right, but are overrated.
I kind of already mentioned it with. Now I'm drawing a blank on their name.
I
talked about that. Electric Wizard. Electric Wizard gets all the love from all the magazines and from all the websites and all the channels. And again, I think they're fantastic live. I don't think it translates real well to their record. I never pull. I've got most of their records. I don't pull them out. I'm not a huge Matt Pike fan. I know everybody loves him. I like some of the Sleep stuff. I'm not a High on Fire fan, which is blasphemous living in Atlanta. I've seen him like 13 times, and because it seems like he's one of those guys that'll show up for any show. So I've seen him open and headline a bunch of different shows I've been to, but I've just never been a huge fan of any of his projects. They're not favorites of mine, I should say.
Yeah, Electric Wizard, Lucifer, Boris, Sun O. I get it, and I don't know if it's because there's a chick in the band or something, and everyone gets goo goo gaga over the, not only breaking the gender barrier but the genre barrier also. I don't know what that is. I think that they're good, they're great, and they're good people for the most part. But I just like you, Steve, High on Fire is just like droning okay, but Sleep, the Sciences. I don't know what happened to them, but
I do like that album. Yeah,
that thing is amazing.
I had the 5 LP or the 4 LP version of Dope Smoker, and I listened to it once. I was like, it still doesn't, it still doesn't do it for me. I got rid of it. I do like some of the stuff. Don't get me wrong, but
I was trying to think of some 70s bands that kind of had, that were doomy Sabbathy, other than Sabbath, of course. The only one that's coming to my mind is War Pigs, that Canadian band, but I know there was others.
I mean, there's probably a million bands trying to find that niche.
Yeah, I mean, there were some obscure ones that like what's the Texas label Rockadrome. Some stuff that's kind of a little on the doomier side, but
Truth and Janie, Venomous Maximus, those they get a lot of.
Truth and Janie's another one. Yeah, they kind of had that.
Iron Cross was another early one that was a little bit slower and heavier. It's not just doom though. I remember. Oh my God, what's the? Oh, I'm gonna Scott. What's the band that does always has the mechanized guys on the cover? The death metal band, Bolt Thrower.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah,
Bolt Thrower 4, when they slowed that death metal down and just made it slow and heavy. I love that shit. At a time when everybody was going heavier in death metal, and Bolt Thrower's like, you know what, fuck it, let's make a slow death metal album. Kind of bring it to the old school.
I love the Fourth Crusade. That's the one you're talking about, I think.
Yeah.
And even Mercenary, and I think I love Bolt Thrower. They were one of my favorites, and they're the hardest to see because they do these one-off shows at big fests, and they never toured the States much.
Well, the one lady did she die?
No, it was the drummer that died. It was
I know one of them passed away.
Andy Whale, or I don't know. But I mean, if you're going to throw a Bolt Thrower in there, how about Benediction?
Yeah.
when Jeff Ingram was singing for him, not when Barney was singing for him. They were more of a death metal band.
Yeah.
But then when Jeff Ingram took Barney's place, they slowed it down a whole lot. But
Fraser Dawson asked about this band.
Yeah, Venomous Maximus. Once again, everyone loves them. I think they're okay. Did you mention, speaking of Michael Amott earlier, did you mention Spiritual Beggars?
Oh no, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Is that more of a stoner rock thing, or is that more of a?
I consider them all. I mean, they're all kind of cousin, like the stoner rock stuff. The Big Elf, who is more on the psychedelic side. I mean, it all kind of comes out of doom metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because see. Well, I'm trying to think of which album where they do the cover of "Not Fragile" by Bachman Turner Overdrive, and it's the heaviest thing you'll ever hear today. I mean, it's so heavy.
Yeah, I showed the Obsessed earlier, Vapid. Actually, if you guys go to I can't remember the name of the label. Pre-orders are up for the new Obsessed album, and I've heard a couple tracks on it. It's fantastic. I mean, it's Wino. He's always good, but. Yeah, their new album, I think the pre-order, I think it comes out next month.
So speaking of the big elephant in the room, Pentagram, anybody?
Oh yeah, we talked about them, yeah.
Okay. Show some Pentagram albums, yeah. I think you had clicked out at the moment.
Oh, well, and our friend Henry Vasquez, speaking of Henry, is going to play drums with them, and it's going to be fantastic, I think. I've actually heard some of the tracks.
Speaking of Henry, his 70s style rock band is I listen to that all the time. I love those albums.
Blood of the Sun?
Blood of the Sun, yeah.
Great. They're fantastic. Blood of the Sun. Was he in Spirit Caravan too?
He played in Spirit Caravan for a tour.
Spirit Caravan was another fantastic album. More of that 70s. I would say that's more of that 70s revival than doom metal, but still has some
doomy elements. Martin Kearns, yes.
Oh, he died. Yeah, for some reason I thought that wasn't the bass player was a female in Bolt Thrower, right?
Yes. Joe Bench.
For some reason I thought she passed away too, but
no, she's still.
No, they formed a new band with her, some of the other members, and she's in that other band too.
Yeah, yes. Memoriam, and it holds true to the Bolt Thrower formula, but they felt like they weren't Bolt Thrower anymore, so they changed it, which I think is cool, but because they still have the killer doomy vibe to it.
Was it Carrie? I'm looking it up. Carrie, was that her name?
I don't even remember.
I think that was it. Carrie. I'm looking it up real quick here. Yeah, Carrie Willits. Nope, that's not it.
Carl Willits is the drummer.
He's that passed away. But what was
Carl Willits? I'm sorry, is the singer. My bad. Martin Kearns was the drummer that passed away.
Joanne Bench.
Yeah, Joe Bench is the bassist.
Yes,
somebody mentioned Bong Ripper, and there's a couple Weedian. There's a couple bands like that. Weed Eater is another one. I've seen all of them. What's that?
Isn't Weed Eater from Atlanta too?
I don't know if I thought they were from North Carolina, but they're from this area regardless. Those are all bands that are killer live. They're fun to see live. I don't like the cannabis album, where it's all about weed and that's the topic. It just kind of, that stuff bores me, but I think those are all good bands and they're all great live.
Kind of like the 420 version of Tankard, where all he's thinking about is beer.
Yeah, man, I put somebody off by talking trash about Tankard in my last video. One of the guys from the UK got pissed.
Well, they for whatever reason, it's worked for them, and I've seen them. I had that rare opportunity in 2006 to see them live, and it was
funny, and I know it's off subject because I talked about it in the video. Their first couple albums were fantastic. They were straight up political thrash, and they would throw a couple party songs in here. And it seems like as they moved on, they went more towards the party songs, which were pretty lame, I thought, And apparently their last couple albums, they've gone back to the political stuff. So he lost it and wrote a long write-up about why I'm wrong and don't know anything about thrash. And
they're a good thrash band, but they're more mindless than Municipal Waste is kind of a party band or whatever. but their songs are mindless. I mean, they're not really saying much of anything. But Tankard takes it to a whole new
because apparently, though, Tankard, their last couple albums have gotten real political again, like the early days. So maybe I'll check them out. But
speaking of UK thrash and doom, Seventh Angel's first album was pure thrash.
Oh.
And the second album, they were still thrash, but they incorporated a couple doom songs into the album. And then their third album, which came out just, I don't know, maybe a decade ago, was just 100% doom, and it was fantastic.
Well, speaking of that transition, how about Divine Eve from right here in Dallas, Texas? Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Try them out. Divine Eve.
And
you in a full length.
I showed a lot of Tankard comments.
I showed you weren't on when we brought it up though, but I showed this one as well.
I had that in my hand, and it is pretty doomy. It has some doomy moments. I remember when they actually recorded all those scratch tracks right here in the house, and they practiced. Oh yeah, that's fantastic, dude.
They have a new album coming out too, don't they?
Well, they're back together.
I was right. They were back together.
Yeah,
how about Turbid North? Don't they have a new album coming out?
Turbid North. In fact, if you want to come see them, the 28th of September, they're actually going to play a benefit show here in town. I think Rotting Corpse, speaking of Steve Murphy, I saw him pop up there. I don't know why he put Dave Greider's name up there for Doom, but because Dave Greider's fantastic at drums and keyboards and everything else he wants to do. But yeah, Turbid North is on the bill. Rotting Corpse, Cauldron, which is Varnum Ponville's band from, Varnum from Gamma Side. And there's some big news about Gamma Side. I'll let Rick Perry tell you, but there's a good chance you may see them playing some of their hits of the past, especially from Victor.
Yeah, he made a kind of an announcement, semi-announcement on Facebook. He hasn't actually done the full announcement yet, but that's cool.
Well, the rumor has it is that they're playing Hell's Heroes next year in Houston. So That's the rumor. I cannot confirm or deny that information.
Well, we are running out of time, but I forgot to mention that I don't know if anybody's into Brother Cane, but this is their third album. I love Brother Cane. They're just a straight up Southern hard rock band. But
yeah, they just have a show here that I'm going to go to.
Yeah, this Rob Caldwell actually got to remaster the new album, and not the new album, this album coming out on vinyl. So he's you can order that now, which is cool. I think I don't remember where it's at. It's girdermusic.com. But yeah, it's coming out on vinyl finally, and Rob did the mastering, and he ended up getting the master from the original master tape, so he got to do it from scratch, which is nice. And he did the first album too from scratch, the first Brother Cane, and he did a freaking bang up job. The thing sounds amazing. So I'm looking forward to hearing this one when it comes out. Anyhow, I just thought I'd mention that because I think Rob would have mentioned it if he was here. But anyhow, Other Tentacles, and
yeah, that's Doomy, sort of, in a non-Doomy kind of way.
Yeah, the non-Doomy, exactly.
It's
right
heavy.
on. Well, I'm looking for the banner so that I can bring us out, but we have to do our whole end thing. But I need to find my end, and I'm not.
Oh yeah, hang on. Evan Williams says a new Divine Eve album is coming out on Dark Descent Records out of Colorado Springs. That's good news.
Nice.
That's PLF Oath of Cruelty. That's where Blood Incantation started.
Yeah, I'm not into L-Storm either. I'm into L-Storm less than I'm into Tankard.
Oh yeah.
I think there's only one good pirate metal band, and even they started to annoy me after about the third album.
What is that, Running Wild?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I mean, I know we're getting off here, but I just picked up this EP for $14, still sealed.
That's a good one.
So anyhow, haven't even cracked the plastic on it yet. It's brand new. So anyhow, all right. So that's it, I guess, for this Doom episode.
Sorry for the glitch in the Matrix, you guys. In fact, it's a miracle that I'm just still here, I guess. So something, I guess
that was very, very odd.
Yeah.
All right. For episode number 232 of the Metal Roundtable, we appreciate y'all watching, and leave a like, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff.
Thanks for the input too, man. That's always killer. I always learn new stuff from.
Oh yeah, that's why I like doing this show so much. I literally always have a notebook next to me during this show. Yep. So that I can.
He told me yesterday, he's like, "Hey, what do you guys want to talk about?" I was like, "Dude, I'm literally listening to doom metal nonstop for the last 2 weeks, so let's do that."
Yep. Good call.
All right. So anyhow, we're just need to do our one little thing. Metal. Will. And then I got to do it. And then I got to find it. I'll leave you all hanging there. You guys can pick your nose.